Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us. Looking around the globe for the 1,000 best practices, one of those happens to be fairly close to the United States in the beautiful country of Jamaica. There's a movement there called Countrystyle, ecotourism, and villages as businesses. Diana McIntyre-Pike, she is president founder of the Countrystyle Community Tourism Network and also Villages as Businesses. And Diana, welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Well, we're really glad to have you. You're doing excellent work in the beautiful country of Jamaica. And thank you for sharing. Tell us a little bit about what is the meaning of the term country style?
The meaning of country style is to show people that we're dealing with the entire country when it comes to the development of tourism. And the country areas, the villages, everybody can be a part of this. It's a sustainable approach, and we provide marketing, business development, and training support.
I think it's absolutely wonderful what you're doing. Looking at the Caribbean itself, it's a huge area, many countries there. Why have this type of country style outreach in the Caribbean and specifically in Jamaica?
It's important because the way tourism has been running, it's sun, sand, and sea. And as a result of that, many people are left behind in communities. They think that the only way they can be in tourism is if they build a resort or they're by the beach. So this country style now is making them see that it's the whole island, or the whole islands can be involved.
Now, looking at the different countries that you have there, Jamaica as a country is very complex, very diverse. So tell us a little bit about the diversity that we're looking at here on your map.
The country is very diverse. You said the right thing. Everywhere is different. We have 14 parishes. We have mountains ranging up to 7,402 feet high, which are the Blue Mountains, famous for coffee. And then we have Mandeville, where we're located at 2,000 feet above sea level, Hula. And we have beautiful attractions, natural, and the people of Jamaica within their communities are very big farmers. So the farming areas is where we are, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Clarendon, the breadbasket of Jamaica. But everywhere is different. Kingston, the capital, is exciting. Most of the people live in Kingston, and the rest of us live in the parishes. So it's about almost 3 million people.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Looking at Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland, these are the three areas that you're really focused upon. Why these three particular areas?
Well, the area of Westmoreland, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth. As I wanted you to know that we have very more diverse villages and attractions. Like, Treasure Beach is well known. And in Westmoreland, we have the Bluefields area, and we have Negril. Part of Negril is into Hanover. And then, of course, Manchester, we have the heritage of Marcus Garvey and the Tidals, who are the original inhabitants of Jamaica, and the Maroons.
Now, looking at the mountains, this is absolutely a gorgeous photograph of the center of Jamaica. Tell us what we're looking at here with all these low hills. You have the houses stretched out around the roadways, out into the forest. How is it that people are able to maintain such a beautiful lifestyle on Jamaica?
Well, the coffee country here that you're seeing, where the Maroons live. Maroons are runaway slaves from the Spanish period, and they are independent of the rest of the country. So they maintain their land, and we are making sure they don't get polluted with anything. The countryside is kept clean, and it's full of organic vegetables and plants. It is an exciting experience for anyone who wants to discover nutritional value of plants and vegetables.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned when I was living twice in Jamaica is that no matter where you went, you always had fresh fruits and vegetables, herbs, just everywhere. And it would really just bring it right out of the gardens, right out of the fields, right up to your car if you wanted to. It was just absolutely fantastic. But looking at the waterfalls, because of the mountainous areas, you have many waterfalls. And how does this actually add to the flora and the fauna of Jamaica, making it the beautiful place that it is?
Well, the waterfalls that you're seeing is at Wise Falls in St. Elizabeth, but we have waterfalls in different parts of the island. And you know what is interesting is that we're discovering more, because up in Manchester, in Christiana, we found out there's waterfalls there too, which many people do not know. So what it does, it refreshes the plants and the flowers and everything that we have. And what we want is to get more people to be sensitive to not polluting the river, not washing clothes in the river, and understanding the beauty of having it clean.
Now, this is really a beautiful site here. I know this is on private property, and actually, I've been to the site. But how is this mix of open lands controlled by the government and private lands? How does everybody work together to make sure that people really do enjoy the benefits of the natural scenery of Jamaica, whether they live there or they're visitors?
But people live in the different communities, and the government, you know, they have member parliament that live in these communities, most of them. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that everybody works together. But we want the communities to take charge of their community and value their assets and not destroy the natural environment, which is very precious for them, or water supply, etc.
Yeah, this is something that's very important. Now, going back to the infrastructure, you mentioned about the Spanish days and then, of course, the coming of the British. And I think this is one of those scenes. But how does the old and the new all blend together in a harmonious package on Jamaica?
Well, you know, it's the younger generation, many of them do realize the heritage of the country, and they recognize the African connection, which is the majority of people are African based. However, we have many places that are named after the Spanish and many places that are named after the English. So the heritage is part of that, and we have to teach them, and we do that in our entrepreneurship training, and it's an eye opener for them to make them value what they have around them.
Mhm. Yeah, and this is one of the things that I think very few people realize the great diversity of Jamaica. It's a small country, small population base, but yet once you travel there and you start going to the different villages throughout the country, you realize just how diverse it is. Looking at this Heritage Center, I know you have several of these across the country. Why are these so important?
It's very important because the Southfield Heritage Centre embraced our plan with the Community Tourism Centre because of the very fact that they're focusing on the heritage. And why it's important is because we have to have a office information base for visitors as well as communities, so that they can get information on training and information on what is possible for them within their communities, and visitors are able to see what they can experience. With community theatre and museum is all a part of it. And the one in Manchester we're setting up now is called the Manchester Community Tourism Centre at the Fruit Gallery. So that is exciting. And this one is the first in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and that's really important. And again, it started in Jamaica. So Jamaica's really been leading
Yes.
the way as far as tourism is concerned, and also teaching about the traditional heritage, culture, even the languages of the areas. But when you go into the villages, and I probably visited most all the major villages and towns in Jamaica when I was living there, these markets are vibrant, and I just enjoyed. I go in, and actually sometimes I, buy a couple of soft drinks, pass them around, and I would just sit in the middle of it and just enjoy being with the people.
The markets of Jamaica are exciting experiences. We have a market community lifestyle tour that introduces the market vendors to visitors, and they really enjoy that. Rather than just be seen as market people, they get to know that their character and their family and everything is important to us. So we do profiles on the different people selling. But the big advantage now with the program that we have for training is that they learn the nutritional value of what they're selling, and they get more sales that way once they understand what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you look at the size and the beauty of the produce that's coming out, you can tell the soil is quite rich. People are really proud of what they're doing and taking good care of their gardens and their fields. And this is something I noticed everywhere I went in Jamaica. Everything was very clean. People are very proud of themselves, their communities, and they really wanted to share it. And it's just like this photograph right here. If there's arts and crafts, they want to make sure that you see it. So tell us
Yeah,
about what we're looking at here, and why is this group photograph emblematic of what you're doing as far as your country style?
it's a very important photograph because it shows the visitors who went to experience Orange Bay Village in the Negril area. It's actually in Hanover. And we give a community art gift to them, which is wonderful. The gift that they treasure when they go back. So we include a gift item in our packages. And this is the TUI, the largest tour operator in the world, visitors who are staying or were staying in an all-inclusive, and they are really, really happy that they were able to go and tour the hairdressing salon and so on. And this is outside the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just wonderful what you're doing. But you have an idea when you get up into the hills and look out over the towns, just how beautiful this country is. And you realize, even though for a small country, just how large it is at the same time. So, looking out through this vista, visitors that come to Jamaica and even the youth that you're training to know more about your country, what are you trying to impress upon them when they look out on this perspective?
Well, I think that you should know that some people who live in these communities in the mountains, some of them have never seen the sea. They've never left their community.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite shocked when I found that there are quite a few. So I think it's an exciting opportunity for us to be able to share the rest of the country with those people, to give them a treat, to understand that their country is very diverse and it's good for them to be visitors in their own country. We call it dryland business, dryland tourism.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. This is Diana McIntyre-Pike. She's the president and founder, Countrystyle, a community tourism network, Villages as Business. Thank you as we create the Emerald Planet.
Thank you.
Looking at the country of Jamaica and country style ecotourism and villages as business, it's something that's very important that's going on there, where there's a real focus on women's leadership, entrepreneurship, and training as far as tourism and how that really helps to expand and strengthen the economic base of each and every community. And we have Diana McIntyre-Pike. She is the president and founder of Countrystyle Community Tourism Network and Villages as Businesses. And looking at the women's leadership, why is this so important, Diana, to your work with Countrystyle?
Women-led businesses very important because most of the women are in their communities with their children, even if the men are not there. You find that most women who have children tend to be alone. And so we feel that we have to train them in the business of organic farming and art and craft, whatever it is that they're talented in, and they are very talented.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is something when you travel throughout the island, you really learn how active these women are. They have leadership in the local schools, the healthcare system. I mean, they're just involved in absolutely everything. But looking at community-based tourism as a business, how did you hit upon this idea? And why does it make so much sense in a country like Jamaica and indeed throughout the Caribbean?
It is a very important question you've asked because many of our people live in these small villages and some of them work in hotels, but many are not working anywhere but in their community. But they do not see the opportunity that they can have. And therefore, our organization, Countrystyle, is making it possible for them to value what they have and to be able to become business-like with the entrepreneurship training that we're providing.
Now, the culture, the lifestyle, the surroundings of Jamaica, everything is so brilliantly green and colorful. It's just the whole place seems just like it glows. But looking at this lady here with the various arts and crafts that she's doing, tell us what we're looking at as far as clothing, the arts and crafts themselves, and how does all this mesh together to give them a viable business?
What we do is that when we identify the entrepreneurs, natural, I say natural because they are natural entrepreneurs, we assess what they have and we show them how they can improve it. We show them how to be accountable because many people just sell and they don't do anything about knowing how much money they earn or how they're going to move forward. So this is important. This is an important picture too to show what they're doing, sorting out their information, their craft, and what fruits that they have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, now actually bringing in internationals, the tourists, to see the day-to-day lifestyle. Tell us what we're looking at here. Why is it important? And how does this young entrepreneur on our right in this photograph have such joy and really a viable lifestyle and what it is that she's doing and hosting these people at her home?
This is the bami making in South Manchester in a community called Resource. And the lady on the right, she is a dynamic entrepreneur who has the knack of making bami from cassava, which is over 100 years old, the traditional way. And visitors enjoy coming to see her. Her name is Deborah, and the visitor is given the opportunity to make the bami with her. Mm-hmm. So this is what you're seeing here, right in that village, which is in the mountain area of South Manchester.
Yeah, it's wonderful that they have a chance to get out of the tourist areas and really get into the hitherland as far as Jamaica is concerned to really learn what's going on, learn the culture. But what is bami?
Bami is made from cassava. It's a root vegetable, and it's very popular in Jamaica to have it with a national dish and fish as well. Mm-hmm. So that's what they're trying out now. After they've made the bami, they're now tasting the bami before they go and eat with other things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now looking at the surroundings, I mean, this really is in the countryside. This young lady is noticeably very proud of what she's able to teach and how she's able to do. So, how does this perfectly fit in with your philosophy as far as Countrystyle is concerned, but also villages as businesses? How does what we're seeing in this very photograph encapsulate everything that you're about?
It is a very important photograph because it shows what is possible for tourism, for people who want to experience a natural lifestyle. And what is also exciting is that this young lady who makes the bami, Deborah, was invited by Complete Caribbean to Dominica
Mhm.
to enjoy meeting the people there and to show them how to set up a bami business. She spent 3 months there. So what does that do? She has come back to her community now with more exposure, more experience. She has never flown in a plane. So she has all exciting news to give them. And she's continuing to develop her bami business.
Mhm. I just think this is absolutely wonderful. What a great photograph. And this is also a very meaningful photograph as well. The children of Jamaica are learning about their own culture, the diversity, also the diverse origins of them as a people. So, why is it so important to have these school students involved now and not wait till they graduate or go off to university?
Well, these young people here are students of tourism at the Western Hospitality Institute.
Mhm.
And we wanted them to get the exposure because where they're studying, they've never been out of that area in Montego Bay. That's where they're coming from.
Mhm.
And this is at Wise Falls that we saw earlier, where the actual owner is presenting to them the history of Wise Falls. And I'm here looking on. But educating the young people is a very important side of our business. From basic school up, we want to make sure that they understand what they can do.
Yeah, and this is really inculcating in them the fact is you can have a quality lifestyle, you can have a good standard of living and stay right within your community, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Now, the whole thing about there are many poets and writers in Jamaica. It's quite famous for, its folklore and all that. So, why is this woman so important to the now, but also the future as far as tourism on Jamaica?
This lady is very important. She's Dawn Lemunos, and she's written this book on Anansi with the Jamaican patois, which is basically 17th century English with Welsh intonations, and it also has African and English. So it's a combination. We are trying to make younger people, I have to say that, because they don't really understand what the patois is all about. It is supposed to be the official dialect of Jamaica. Some people want to call it the official language, but we are showing what it is. It's a beautiful language.
Mhm.
And Anansi, she's talking about Anansi. That is one of our comic type um, personalities in Jamaica. Anansi is Anansi's story. I grew up with Anansi. So what she's doing here, she's written this book. So we're going to use this as part of our education in the communities.
Now, this is absolutely incredible. Now, going into the markets, we talked about this earlier. Why is it so important that people, when they come into a country like Jamaica, even if they're staying in a full tourist resort, they have all the amenities they need. Why do they really should be getting out into the countryside? And what are they going to learn different than just being in a enclave for tourists?
Well, when you're selling fruits and you're selling vegetables, and then you get to meet visitors who respect and appreciate you. The visitor doesn't want to only buy the fruits and the vegetables. They want to know who you are, about your family and so on. And believe me, Jamaicans love to talk about themselves.
Hmm.
They love the fact that people want to know who they are, not just the fruits and the vegetables, but they have an opportunity to tell them the nutritional value of what they're going to be eating and the advantage it is for their health.
And as we'll see in other photographs too, I tell you, the fruits, vegetables, the herbs are just large. They're brilliantly colored and very, very natural. And I think this is something that we want to talk about as far as Jamaica is concerned. Looking at very young children and involving them very early as far as interacting with the international guests, but also interacting with Jamaicans from other parts of Jamaica. Why is this important?
Well, I'm telling you that the Kingstonians in particular, and even people in the Montego Bay, are the two cities. They don't know anything about what's going on in the communities. And the people who are going to school here, the young people, they don't know anything much either. So it's a win-win situation when visitors come and be able to tell them about their country and what they do. It widens their scope of knowledge. And I should mention that the schools are a very important part of our community lifestyle tours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was there, I was actually working with virtually every school in Jamaica in rural education development. And the whole thing about it, that the schools really are an open source for the community, and it's a two-way flow. The community comes into the school with the children, but at the same time, you allow others to come in. Now, having these training sessions in the schools, this is for adults. Why is this so important?
The training of the communities, the mothers, the fathers, everyone. This one is in Trinidad. And they learn to do a project called My Community and I, where they have to research their community and research their family. And boy, I tell you, it's an exciting thing to hear these presentations because they never knew anything about what I've just spoken about. And then they can now share that with the other people in the community, as well as visitors who come, including local people who don't know the roots of their village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing how ignorant we can be of our own community. We're going to go out. We'll leave this photograph up because people are sharing. What do you see for the growth and expansion development of Countrystyle, say over the next 5, 10, or 15 years? And you've got about 6 seconds to do this. Got to be quick.
Yeah, the growth is fantastic because of the diaspora. The Caribbean diaspora is interested in the projects. So I see big growth with villages as businesses, and we've won many awards, over 30 awards. So I think we have a great future.
Fantastic. Diana Pike, President, Founder, Countrystyle, Villages as Businesses, as we create the Emerald Planet. Looking at Countrystyle and the way that it's moving the villages forward, villages as businesses, is something called women-led organic business farming. This is something that truly is unique, organic, women having their own businesses and being involved in farming and being led by women. This is something that's very important. This is Diana Pike. She is the president, founder of Countryside Community Style Network and Villages as Businesses. And Diana, why is it so important to have this put together, organic businesses and farming?
It's very important because there's a bigger demand for organically grown vegetables and fruits, especially since COVID had hit us all. People are very concerned about their health, and the community persons, the women in the community, are family people, and they want to know how they can respond to this. And so we're doing training for organic farming for Jamaica, starting with Manchester with the organic farming.
Mm-hmm. I think this is really very important, but women-led organic business farming, why is that so critical as far as the communities in Jamaica and really throughout the other nations in the Caribbean?
It is important because women are more stable. They will stay in their communities because they have their children and family, whereas the men tend to wander around. So we think the focus should be on women-led businesses within the community with organic farming and other uh, areas of healthy lifestyle.
Mhm. Now, looking at this transforming local communities, this is something that involves a diaspora from Jamaica, people thousands of miles away, very different countries. Yet it seems like there's this new movement where people want to be connected back to their traditional areas, back to their traditional communities, even their families. Why is this happening?
It's happening because they know that the communities need help and they want to be more active with the projects from the communities, and farming is one of the main areas that they're looking at, making connections work. Diaspora partner Rudy Page, he has really come on board with us because he supports the concept and the program of villages as businesses, making people more economically uh, confirmed in their villages.
Mm-hmm. I think this is very important. And if you look at the dense forest in the background of this particular garden, it's very lovely. It's a mix of different fruits and vegetables, herbs. Why is it so important for the women to start carving out this type of land in order to have their own business?
They need to feel that it is their business, not somebody else's business. And they just need the support to move the agenda forward. But what is very interesting is that they're getting their children involved with the farming.
Now, this is something important as far as the children being involved. One is getting them out of doors, getting good physical exercise out in the sunshine, which is good for absorbing vitamin D. All these various wonderful things are going on. But what are the children and the women led organic business ladies sharing with their children that will be lessons for multi generations ahead?
The women are sharing how to plant in an organical friendly environment. The children have no clue about the information of the plants and the vegetables. They're learning the nutritional value. They're learning not to eat, as we call it, junk, but eat what you grow. That's the theme. Eat what you grow. And that's what's very beautiful about this.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it too is, the concept of food is medicine. We are what we eat. These plants are very, very lovely, and
Yes.
it takes time, it takes attention, it takes real care to have this type of very lovely garden. So, what are these women learning not only about the plants and the soil within which they're working? What are they learning about themselves?
They're also learning how to be a business person because many of them have been planting, but they're not really business-like in their approach. So they're learning that they can have it as a lucrative business, but they have to learn to be accountable for what they grow, and they can now do the sales outside of their community. And we're hoping that we can do an export business to the Caribbean area because many of the fruits and vegetables the Caribbean gets is from the United States. So we're saying, no, we want it from the Caribbean.
Mhm. Well, and this is the whole thing of interdependence between the various island nations of the Caribbean, very beautiful, diverse countries. But having your own produce, being able to pull it off your own tree, pull it out of the ground, being able to snip it off with a pair of scissors, why is it so important that we have the fresh fruit, vegetables, herbs from right where we live?
The natural way of drinking coconut water is a very important one here. This is a visitor who is enjoying the actual way of drinking coconut straight, not with a straw.
Mhm.
And this is fascinating for many visitors to see. And the natural coconut, there's so many advantages for it naturally, for your health. I think it's a great shot to encourage people to go that route.
Mhm. Now, looking at planting trees, this is something that's very important all across the world. The earth right now is, looking forward to some billions of trees being planted on a year-to-year basis. Why is it so important to these women-led organic businesses to start planting their own trees?
It's so important because many of the trees have been cut down and they didn't realize how important the trees were until we started to educate them. And the Trees That Feed Foundation, which is a Jamaican organization in the United States, in Chicago, has been helping us with getting trees free of cost to communities, including machines to make cassava flour. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to have that type of relationship and the commitment that we can make with the communities.
Yeah, and also too, we need to realize as these trees start growing, get a little larger, it's almost the same as removing 6 to 7 automobiles from the roadways every year. So, reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, reducing the amount of carbon that's going out into the atmosphere. So, this work we're seeing right in front of us through this family is just really wonderfully important, not only for Jamaica, but to all the Caribbean and the rest of the world. Now, what are we looking at here? Someone is doing something very special. And how does this actually help the international visitor, but also the local woman entrepreneur?
This is the Bami making. That's what it looks like after it's grated. Earlier you saw it being grated, but this is when it's now being baked on the stove that they have at the Resource Village. And I should mention that the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism has endorsed our program, and we have embraced peace villages along with the villages as businesses, because the only way you can have peace is to create a very comfortable environment for people to do business.
Yeah, that's something that's very important. If people can take care of themselves, provide for their own needs and those around them, that is a true step towards peace. Now, looking at the food that we have here, this is another entrepreneur. Tell us what we're looking at, and why is she so excited?
Oh boy, turmeric. It's a turmeric business, and they plant the turmeric in that community, Beeston Spring in Westmoreland. There's a big demand for turmeric from hotels for the use of, seasoning different dishes, but the most of all, to make turmeric tea. Turmeric tea is very popular. So she's excited because she has a big market.
Yeah, and this is something we don't really think about. These women-led organic business farmers is that this really does become a big business for these ladies. Many of them have not done this before. They're eating, store-bought or convenience store place foods coming from all over the world. Now they're eating clean, healthy, local produce, and this is really something very different. And when you see the beauty of this fruit, this is just incredible.
The beauty of the fruits in Jamaica, we have different fruits that come at different times of the year. So people look forward to it. Like right now, we have the OTET apple, lots of it, all over the south coast of Jamaica. And it's a very good fruit for people to eat for lunch, dinner, anytime. I'm very proud of Jamaica because we have some wonderful fruits. Something I've always said, I never leave Jamaica because I would miss the fruits.
Yeah, and this is one of the things too that we need to talk about is the ways of having what we call the solar dryers. So when you have this abundance during the productive season, this could be dried, stored, and then sold in the marketplaces at other times of the year when there's less food available. Looking at this is a very good looking layout as far as the garden is concerned, the trees planted around the edges. This is a lot of work, but at the same time, it shows that people really are establishing their own local green business, aren't they?
It's a very come on site in St. Elizabeth in Jamaica to see this. They are very excited about farming. And what is good about them is that they are known to be natural entrepreneurs. I say natural because some people just don't have a clue how to be an entrepreneur, but they do. And I tell them that entrepreneur means risk takers. That's what it means, a French word. And when I tell them that, they say, well, we are good entrepreneurs because we take risks all the time. It's a wonderful thing to see.
We're going to go out on this photograph. This is really a beautiful one in so many different ways. What do you see for women-led businesses, their growth and development over the next 5, 10, or 15 years? And you got to be very quick. We have about 20 seconds left.
Well, this is a lady who is up in the mountains of the Manchester, going into Trelawney area. And she is excited about what she heard. And this is why I took this picture of what she can do as an entrepreneur in her own community, at the community bar.
That's absolutely fantastic. This is Diana Pike, President, Founder, Countrystyle, Villages as Businesses, as we create the Emerald Planet. Putting together the villages as businesses and country style tourism is about indigenous technologies, indigenous lifestyles that's rich throughout Jamaica, but rich throughout the Caribbean itself. So Diana McIntyre-Pike, she's the president founder of Countrystyle and Villages as Businesses. And welcome back to the Emerald Planet.
Great pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
And looking at respecting indigenous technologies and lifestyle, what does that really mean, indigenous technologies and lifestyle?
Well, what it means is that we have several communities with different experiences, and the indigenous side of it is only unique to Jamaica, and in some instances also to the Caribbean. For example, the Maroons, there's no other Caribbean island that has Maroons from runaway slaves in the Spanish period, and they have their own government. So that's very indigenous. And we also have entertainment like the Mento Band, which is only in Jamaica. We're the only ones that have it. Calypso is all over the Caribbean, but not Mento. So those are just some examples. And then the Marcus Garvey belongs to us. This is where it came from, Marcus Garvey.
Right. Well, it's really fascinating as I traveled around Jamaica, going into the different villages to see how people just really enjoyed themselves within their own local community, yet doing good things, taking care of their families, healthcare, education, water, sanitation, all these things that need to be taken care of. But at the same time, they did it with a special joy and a fervor for life that many societies, you just don't get that. What is so special about Jamaica and the people of Jamaica that they just exude? You just see the smiles here. They just exude enthusiasm.
This is the Mento Band here in Beeson Spring. And when visitors go there, they enjoy the Mento Band and dancing with the people, especially the children. The children love to dance. We all love to dance. I'm known as a dancing queen for the Caribbean because I love to dance. So it is a natural thing for us. We have the Bob Marley and, different entertainers who have done well for us.
Right.
So this is all part of our experience.
Now, going into the villages, this is something that we've been talking about in our discussions as far as the arts and crafts. People are very creative, using what's around them and to absorb that and then put it out for others from around the globe to be able to enjoy. Why is it so important to be using the natural resources around us instead of importing things from other places and trying to repackage them?
Well, it's a part of the whole concept of ownership, to have them be involved in trade fairs like this one is the Marcus Garvey Trade Show. And, the partner that I have, my vice president, Valerie Dixon, is very instrumental in setting up the Marcus Garvey Fair. And what is good about it is that people are able to promote their natural products and what they do, art, craft, whatever they do, and some unique recycling jewelry is presented there, which is amazing. And they become very creative. The people in the communities are very creative. So this is all part of our fair offerings.
Now, Marcus Garvey, who is Marcus Garvey and why is he so important to Jamaica? But not only to Jamaica, he's actually quite important to the world. Why?
Marcus Garvey was an amazing entrepreneur because even before technology, he was able to communicate to the world what was important, especially in Africa. He's went to Africa, and he also created his own ship line. And he was someone who preached about the importance of unity, working together, and understanding the value of their country and the value of their color, because many people were feeling that being black is not going to take me anywhere. But Marcus Garvey showed that that was possible. So he's important for us as one of our national heroes.
Right, right. Now, looking at the trade fair, these are local things that are produced by people living in these various villages, going back to this villages as businesses. You have people coming from overseas to enjoy. Tell us the interactions that are happening here and what is one group learning from the other?
Well, this is the honey business in Beeson Spring, and how the honey business was able to be supported. The Sandals Foundation brought in 600 guests over a period of 2 days to build the site, help the beehives being there, and the basic school roof they put on. So a relation was established here, and they give a tour of the tour of this place, and the visitor is able to enjoy seeing how it is made, the honey.
Now, also going to the local style of life and the music you were talking about earlier, what are we seeing?
Oh, we're seeing the loop leader of the visitor dancing with Astor Gage, who is our mentor man leader, and he's also the leader for the community tourism program in Beeson Spring. It's a wonderful photo that shows joy and entertaining people.
Right. And the whole thing is, though, it's a mixing of the cultures that's so important in this photograph as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is something that's special. Tell us about this game, why it's important. This is very indigenous to Jamaica. And what does the music and the background have to do with the game?
This is in the South Manchester area again resource, where people are showing them how to do the traditional dance that they have there that they got from Africa, the African roots, and it's an exciting experience to watch them do this. This is what it is that you're seeing.
And what's the name of this?
Well, the name of the group, I am.
No, the name of the dance.
Oh no, I know the name of the dance. I know the name, but you know how it is. Right now, I'm not able to communicate that to you.
Okay, that's
it's
all right.
just unique. It's very unique to this village, though.
Yeah, and this is something you and I have talked about several times. That this is really quite unique to the culture of this area, and it's just something that's fun. It's relaxing. People from all over the world can do it. It's easily learned. But
Right.
you have these elders that are all over Jamaica, and everywhere I traveled, I go in through the villages or stop at a roadside stall.
and they would just kind of like materialize. It's just like they weren't there, and then 30 seconds later, there's someone standing beside me grinning at me. How is this possible in a country like Jamaica, where you have people that are so engaged, and when they see somebody from outside or different, they really want to come over and get to know you?
Well, it is possible because we promote each village what they have, and we make sure, and this is very important, that we don't just stop in a village or stop to see anybody. We tell them in advance so they can decide whether they want to have anybody come on that particular day. We're not turning people into attractions. We're saying it's their lifestyle, so you have to respect that. So if they can't see you today, maybe they can see you tomorrow. Like this guy here is Prince Matthew. He's a Rastafarian Christian in Porus Village in South Manchester. Well, not really south, it's near Mandeville. And he has an organic garden. He's standing in front of his organic garden. And he makes beautiful jewelry out of wood and natural products. And the food is natural. If you go there, you're going to have his soup, which is ITIL cooking.
Mm-hmm. And I've had some of this over the years, and it's actually quite delicious. Now, let's go through this. Just tell us what we're seeing, what's happening, and why.
Well, this is one of our senior citizens who's a farmer and he's also an architect. I keep telling people, don't call them guides, because they're not doing this for tourism. They're doing it to share what they do. And this is turmeric. He's showing them how turmeric is planted, and he's actually showing the visitors, and I'm along there too, how he reaps it and how it's used to make wonderful curry. In the chicken and curry goat and whatever they want to do.
Right. Yeah, and that's a very important ingredient. Now, looking at the history and the background as far as music and having the culture spread across the island, why is it so important? Again, going to Marcus Garvey and his legacy across and throughout Jamaica.
Well, Marcus Garvey, this is an ad for the fair that we is had every year. And what I'm telling you is that we get a good turnout, and we want to get the Marcus Garvey teaching within the community's entrepreneurship training, because he has a philosophy which will make them be more stable and more confident about moving forward positively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, again, this is something going to local produce, using the local product, but also learning about the culture. What's this young man doing?
Oh, he is the bammy making again, which is so popular. This is the one that Butch Stewart went and experienced. So we have a famous photograph of Butch doing this. So they're beating the cassava now, and then it is sieved after that to make the bammy. Mm-hmm. So this is in Resource Village in South Manchester.
Right. Now, this gives you an idea of just the breathtaking beauty of Jamaica. I think this is just a pristine photograph, and I traveled actually in this very area. So, looking at the future of Jamaica, we're almost out of time. What do you see for the growth and development as far as villages as businesses, the Countrystyle lifestyle, going throughout Jamaica, but also across the entire Caribbean over the next 5, 10, or 15 years? You got to be quick. We got about 30 seconds.
Okay. The focus is that we will now give everybody an opportunity to move forward as entrepreneurs within their own environment. It's a wonderful thing that we're doing for people, and the people are really excited about it because they can now realize their future within their own environment.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. This is Diana McIntyre-Pike, President, Founder, Countryside Community Tourism Network and Villages as Businesses. Thank you for being with us as we looked at Indigenous technologies and lifestyle as we create the Emerald Planet.